Hey guys, what's up? Thank you so much for tuning in today. I wanted to shift gears a little bit, and I'm not traveling currently with my camper. I've got a few issues with it that I need to work on. I've got water leaking in. I have a floor to fix that's partially rotted. In 2019, I lost my front windshield and I had it replaced with plexiglass. And my brother recaulked everything for me before I left for my trip in 2022. And with the pressure of the wind as you're driving, it kind of breaks the seal with the caulk with the plexiglass because it flexes. So I have a whole bunch of water leaking into the camper. I've got to figure out how to fix that and maybe get some new gaskets for the front window. Lots of stuff going on. But before we jump into what I have planned for today, I wanted to reintroduce myself just in case people were curious about what I do or how I did it or just my backstory. So to start, it's kind of a cool little process and journey that we go through whenever we make these life-altering, life-changing decisions to do what we do. And I was laid off from work in 2018. That was devastating. And it was the first time I had ever been let go from a job. I didn't know what that felt like. I kind of hit rock bottom for a little bit and started dreaming about converting my car into a car camper. And I had a senior dog at the time, and I only have a little Honda CRV. And my senior dog was 75 pounds, so trying to make that small of a space work for the both of us, the more I started looking at it, seemed unfeasible. Then I found this itty bitty little tiny camper called a Little Guy Reverse Teardrop. Loved that little camper, but it was just like a bed on wheels, and you kind of crawled through the back to get into the bed, and then you had a few cabinets that went along the top. Great for having just a tow behind bed, but not great if you're stuck in weather like what I'm stuck in today. It's been all snow, all rain, and I've hardly had any sunny days to where I could come out here and really enjoy this space to cook a meal for you guys, which is what I have planned for today. But wait, because it's a really cool process before we jump into all that. In 2018, I got laid off from work. And then after going through this whole process, getting that Little Guy RT camper, I was walking a dog for one of my other jobs in North Nashville, and I ran across a scamp. And I was like, what is that? And I'm like, I've never seen something like that. And so I started researching scamps. This U-Haul camper popped up online while I was searching for the scamp. And so I called my dad immediately and I was like, have you ever heard of one of these? He started doing a little bit of research and responded pretty quickly that they were unique and rare. So I ended up getting the U-Haul camper. I have traveled the country 3 times now with this little U-Haul camper. Well, this last trip, let's see, I clocked about 17,000 miles, and I quit my job every time I travel, and I just travel until my money runs out. And I know for a lot of people that causes a lot of anxiety. But for me, this is a lifestyle. It works great. You can't take it with you. I do have a retirement plan from when I did have a corporate job, because I've had probably around 25 jobs in my lifetime, various things. I used to be one of the little promo girls for Old Smoky Moonshine when they first rolled out in Tennessee, and a whitewater raft guide. I've done a lot of fun stuff in my lifetime. I've also blown glass for Dollywood. I've done these crazy things that I'm just really trying to find my right place and what I enjoy, what I like and what I don't like. And I think that's the whole process of this journey, is trying to figure out what you do like and what you don't like. So that's a little bit of my backstory and what kind of promoted me to take these amazing trips that I took. This past one was so transformative. I did the entire west coast of the lower 48 states. And y'all, dreams really do come true. And I keep saying that over and over and over again, because they do. And if you really focus on something that you want, you are in control of your own reality. You can create whatever reality for you that you want to create in your life, whatever your passion is, whether it's, I don't know, everybody's got different dreams. If it's a dream like this, I think almost anybody can make it happen for themselves. Even if it's just for the weekend, get a small camper or find a tent, go tent camping. It's a lot less expensive, but start getting yourself in these lifestyle choices to get that mojo going for the direction that you want to go, and you can make anything happen. I just want to tell you guys how I started and what kind of triggered this whole lifestyle change for me, because it wasn't an easy overnight decision, you know, and I sometimes I come across as making this seem like it was so easy. I think when you look back and you see what you've achieved, then it doesn't seem like it was that hard to get here, because you were focused on that one goal the whole time. And the journey is part of the destination. Like, that is the main part. The destination lasts for like 2 seconds. The journey is what is so cool about making it to your destination. And once you get to check that off your list, man, that feeling is just awesome. So I wish that for everybody. I just want to encourage you guys, if this is something that you want, don't ever stop, because this has been so cool and so transformative, and I just can't preach to it enough to do what you want to do, whether it's, you know, working on your love life, finding a spouse, you know, starting a family, or traveling, or whatever it is that you want to do. Take steps to do it. Enough about me. Let's focus on what I have in mind, since I'm not traveling right now. I kind of have a unique situation, and I realized that the other day. I love cooking camp meals while I'm on the road, and I actually got my hands on one of the old U-Haul cookbooks from the 80s. So this was actually published in 1984, right when they came out with the U-Haul campers. And I thought, how fun would it be to cook some of these U-Haul camp meals in my U-Haul camper? So that's what I'm going to be working on over the next couple months, is, you know, finding the meals that I like, that I think that I can do, because some of these do require an oven, or, you know, some type of microwave, or, you know, some things that you might not readily have access to on the road. But it's got a lot of great 80s recipes in here. So today we're going to start with, hang on, I love the one pot meals, because they really are easy to kind of manage while you're on the road and you have less resources for like water and all those things. So I thought it would be so fun and nostalgic to just go on this little 80s journey. So won't y'all come with me? All right. So the one that we're doing today is called range top tuna casserole. And I don't know what is more 80s than tuna casserole. I don't think I could think of another dish that is more than that. And then I also wanted to do a little bit of a dessert-y thing too in here, because this one looked like it was pretty easy to concoct while you're traveling, or just for fun at home. But there's a lemon berry pudding, and we're going to be focusing on that little lemon berry pudding today. And that one's pretty easy. So let's get started. And I just want to give a quick shout out to Jane in Tillamook. When I met you, thank you so much for showing me the U-Haul cookbook, because my brother's girlfriend was able to find one for me. So thank you so much, Jennifer, too. She was able to find one for me online, like literally within 5 to 10 minutes after saying, hey, I'm having trouble finding one of these. If you come across one of these in all your like antiquing and thrifting, pick it up for me. Within 5 minutes, I had this being mailed to me, or my parents in Albuquerque, when I was still traveling, after I saw it, after Jane showed it to me. And I was like, I have to have that. I have the U-Haul camper. I need the U-Haul camping cookbook. All right, guys, buckle up, because here we go. And I could not think of a more comforting, kind of nostalgic meal to do than tuna casserole. Okay, so we'll start with the dessert. I am so excited to be going on this journey with you guys. Like, I get so nostalgic and like giddy about stuff like this. But I got everything kind of sort of pre-measured, and the instructions there are to pour it in a 1-quart container with a screw top. So I just used a mason jar, and I've pre-measured my 2 cups of water that it requires. You're also going to need 1 cup of the non-fat dry milk, which I've pre-measured as well. And it's just little instant packets that I got to use for this. And then you're going to need 1 package of lemon pudding mix. You're also going to need some blueberries. So it's just 4 ingredients that go in here, including water. It's not that much that it requires to make this sounding like delicious dessert. I'm gonna add the ingredients the way it says. So we're just going to add in my instant dry milk here. I've never done this before. Not sure how it's gonna turn out. Going to add in the pudding mix next, because that sets pretty quickly. So now we've got our 2 mixtures in there. And we're just gonna shake it like it says to shake it. And it smells delightful too. Oh, look at that. So, and it says to shake vigorously for about 30 seconds. And then pour into a dish or the paper cups that you want to serve it in. So we're just gonna shake vigorously. Go. I've never made pudding this way. This is pretty cool. All right. Has it been 30 seconds yet? There we go. All right, that looks pretty well mixed for 30 seconds. All right, before it starts to set, let's go ahead and put it in the containers that I brought here. Ooh, that's delightful. And I'm just gonna go ahead and put it in some in my coffee cup. And then I also wanted to make a pretty one to see like if you could do this for like a cocktail party or something. So we're just gonna put it in a little wine glass and make it pretty. Since I'm at my parents' house, I have access to a few more resources than what I'm used to. Stir in some blueberries. Let me move this down here so y'all can see. All right, I gotta be quick because these are really setting up pretty quick and you're supposed to stir those in. So let's get a few more. I love blueberries. You can't ever have too many antioxidants, but it's a pretty little, dish. So let's let that set. And it looks like it's already starting to set up. You got to move quick with this stuff. All right. Ooh. Pick up those blueberries. Making a mess in here. All right. Anyway, I'm going to get those stirred up. But look at how pretty that little glass looks. Like, okay. All right. And while I'm waiting on these to set, I'm going to go stick them in my little portable ice-cold refrigerator. I've got the JP50 Pro. That thing's amazing. So I'm going to go set those in there. So while we make our tuna casserole, this can sit in the fridge and set up properly. So diving into this recipe here, we've got the range top tuna casserole, and I need 4 ounces. I went ahead and pre-boiled and got the noodles ready. So you're going to need 4 ounces of regular or whole wheat noodles. I went with the whole wheat. Then I'm going to need 1/3 cup of milk. So I prefer oat milk. I'm just going to try that in there, but it does call for regular cow's milk. I don't think that these nut milks and the oat milks were available in the 80s so much as they are now, but I'm going to try that in there and see how that goes. But that's the only modification that I'm making. And then let's see, we're going to need 1.5 ounce envelope of cheese sauce. This cheese sauce is really hard to find. Actually, just in case I couldn't find the cheese packet, which my mom happened to have in the cabinet, I got this cheesy cheddar stuff, and I'm sure it comes out to be 4.3 ounces. I'm sure you could actually use these noodles and that cheese packet to go in your range top tuna casserole. So you'd be, you wouldn't have to buy so many ingredients. I just prefer the wheat noodles, and they didn't have this in wheat. 1.5 cups of cream style cottage cheese. I did have to whip this because I couldn't find cream style cottage cheese anywhere. So finding some of these ingredients from the 80s has been a little bit challenging, but I think it'll be worth it. I've got my can of sweet peas. I went ahead and pre-drained those, and I pre-drained my can of tuna. It says 6 rich round crackers crushed. So I got my Ritz round crackers, the original crushed, and that's just a crumble on top when we're done. Right, so I'm going to measure out my 3/4 cup of milk to get started. It says to, in a saucepan, mix your milk and your cheese sauce. The only challenge I see, like, being on the road and trying to cook a meal like this is I'm all about convenience, and I do not like doing the dishes. So the more you can do like a 1-pot meal, the better. And so far I've had to use a pot to boil the noodles and to get those ready. And then if I would have been able to find the cream cottage cheese, I wouldn't have had to use another bowl here and some more resources. And now I have to use a saucepan to make this cheese sauce. So, you really have to plan what you want to cook if you're going to be doing something like this. And I know people freak out because the bunk bed is like really, really close to the stove, but it never gets hot. And I think U-Haul really thought out these campers before anything, these engineers were they made a pretty damn good camper. I think they thought about all the Tourons or people that didn't know like how to camp, because camping wasn't as popular back then as it is become now. So, you know, like we've got conveniences, we've got a whole different lifestyle now, based around this nomadic life. You know, it's no longer the creepy van down by the river. There's a lot of people doing this. Anyways, I do try to find shortcuts while I'm on the road to make this a little bit more convenient. You know, and you can interchange ingredients. I'm sure if you didn't want to use tuna, like if you're vegan, you could probably do like some tofu or some mushrooms or something to, you know, substitute for the tuna. Make the cheese sauce. Now that we've got this cheese sauce all mixed up, I'm just going to go ahead and add it to the other pot. This definitely is a culinary adventure. Turn on the skillet over here. All right, and then it says to add in the cottage cheese. We're going to go ahead and do that. So we got our 1.5 cups of whipped cottage cheese in there. Gonna add in our peas. I'm gonna move this over here so y'all can see this. Add in our tuna. All right, I'll give Rupert some of the leftovers. When I drained the tuna, I actually just gave Rupert and Charlie the stuff out of it. So if I do make this on the road, I don't have to worry about what am I gonna do with the tuna, because that can definitely attract animals if you put like that tuna water around your camper somewhere. Add in the noodles. Let's give this a nice little stir. All right. Cheesy tuna casserole. Here we come. This brings me back so far to like when I was a kid. My mom made this quite a bit. And I cooked the noodles to where they were still just slightly hard. I didn't make them too soft because, you know, they sit here and simmer for another few minutes and then they'll get like too cooked. It says to stir over medium heat until thickened and bubbly. Looking good. Give this another stir because it's starting to bubble a little bit. Oh yeah, look at that. Nice creamy tuna casserole. What a fun meal to make, like if you have the opportunity, if you're going camping and you got, you know, a family or something like that, or friends. This serves 4. So this will be my meal for the next couple of days. I hope I do like tuna casserole because I'm going to have to eat it. We don't waste food around here. It's thickened up quite a bit. It didn't take long. Put my crushed 6 round crackers on top here. Yeah, so this is looking pretty good with those crackers on top. Okay. So let's give this a whirl. A little bit of nostalgia here, and I know I keep using that word. Nice little hot meal. And then I've got my pudding for a little bit later. All right, let's give this tuna casserole a try. I'm so excited. I can't remember the last time I've had this. It smells good. It reminds me of what my mama used to make. That really brings me back quite a bit. Absolutely loving this. I dance when I'm happy about food. A little taste of the 80s there. I picked the fancy glass to try. Let's see here. This looks really good. Got a little blueberry on there. Ooh. Wow. This is really good. I'm actually really enjoying some lemon pudding with that instant or the dry milk mix. It's just instant. I'm shocked. I'm really enjoying this. This is so good. Very summery. This would be great for like any type of summer event that you have going on, whether you're camping or not, and it's so easy to make. This one, I'd have to figure out how to modify for when I am traveling because I love easy meals. There are a few things that you could do differently. When I was at the store, I saw like the already cooked pasta that you could get. So you could just stick that in the pan and warm it up instead of, boiling your own pasta. So there's one less dish that you would have. And then also finding like the already cream style cottage cheese. But the thing about recipes from the 80s is some of that stuff is not popular anymore. So sometimes it's hard to find ingredients that go in some of these recipes. And I did run into some challenges today, but we did some workarounds and I had very similar results to what I would have had in the 80s, which is awesome. Mm. Well, I'm going to finish this and I'm going to get cleaned up. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today. I will definitely link below the recipes that I've used from this. It's a really cool little cookbook. They've got even like meal planning in here for like an entire weekend for you. They've got all sorts of stuff. It's a really well written cookbook. I can't wait to try some of the other recipes in here and I can't wait to share them with you. And I really want to stay kind of practical, with what I could do while I'm out on the road. Some of these things are a little bit more difficult to make the way that they want you to make, and some of these recipes require like an oven or whatever, and I typically use my cooktop to make meals when I'm out on the road, and I only like having one pan because less dishes, less water waste. If you're boondocking and you're carrying all this stuff in and out, it's a lot sometimes to make some of these recipes. So I'm looking for the easier recipes like the one skillet meals with less stuff. But in the 80s this wasn't as popular, and I think that's why U-Haul ended up selling their campers, is because the program kind of flopped. And I'm not sure exactly what went wrong with it, but in 1992 they sold these campers out, and like camping wasn't as popular back then as it is now, the way it is now, this road life. And so it was really interesting to go through this cookbook and figure out like for camping what people were doing or what meals they were suggesting for that in the 80s. So it's just been a really fun little project that I'm just diving into, and we'll see where it goes. I'm really excited about it though, because I love cooking and I love trying new things. And I mean, I have a U-Haul cookbook with a U-Haul camper. I really have to try and make some of these meals in here. It's basically like my duty. I have to do it. This was really fun for me. I hope it was just as fun for you. And if you want to see more recipes, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you know when they come out. And every Sunday for the next little bit, I'll be posting a new camping recipe from the U-Haul cookbook. I really hope to see y'all down the road. Y'all take care.